First, the highlights. Lagos State government organizes retreats for union leaders. Oyo State government conducts integrity tests on 230 houses affected by Ibadan explosion. On the foreign scene, United States personnel injured in missile attack on Al-Assad airbase in Iraq. And in sport, Djokovic, Sabalenka in ruthless form to reach Australian Open quarterfinals. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. The Ministry of Establishments and Training has organized a retreat for union leaders and stakeholders in the labor industry in the state. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the retreat with the theme, The Role of Industrial Relations in Government, the Commissioner for Establishment and Training, Afolabi Ayotayo, expressed appreciation to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for approving the retreat to underscore his deep understanding of the contributions of the labor unions to the state's development agenda and the recognition that a thriving economy is built on the foundation of a well-functioning labor-government relation. Ayotayo averred that the gathering was also a testament to the commitment of the state government to nurturing positive labor-government relations, fostering understanding and building a stronger tie for the collective progress of the state. While appreciating labor unions for the industrial peace and harmony expressed in the state in the last few years, Ayotayo said the theme of the retreat underlined the significance of the partnership between labor unions and the state government, stressing that it was an acknowledgement that labor and government hold the keys to a prosperous and harmonious future for the state. The Lagos State Technical and Vocational Education Board, LASVEB, in collaboration with Kensington Adebukola Adebutu Foundation, CAF, has graduated 108 beneficiaries of the 2023 Skills for Work in Construction Trade program. The ceremony featured graduates who spent a total of 9 months on intensive training and industrial attachment in 4 areas, namely masonry and tiling, furniture and carpentry, plumbing and pipe fitting, and electrical installations and maintenance. Executive Secretary of LASVEB, Murenke Aziz, congratulated the beneficiaries on the completion of their various courses and expressed gratitude to CAF for supporting the vocational training of youths who are either unemployed or out of school to become productive citizens in terms of gaining employment or setting up businesses. Ahead of the 257th edition of its annual conference, the officials and members of the Forestry Association of Nigeria have paid a courtesy visit to the Special Advisor, Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement, Afolabi Tajuddin, and Commissioner for Agriculture, Bisola Olusoya. Welcoming the delegation to his office, the Special Advisor, Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement, wished the association a fruitful deliberation at its annual conference coming up soon. Afolabi, who is also the current president of the association, charged the body to chart a new course and organize various programs that will bring about a more friendly forestry climate and economically stable society. Also addressing the delegation, Commissioner for Agriculture, Bisola Olusoya, said the forestry sector is being undermined in Nigeria with minimal support despite being one of the key sectors running the Nigerian economy. Assuring the association of the support of the state government, Olusoya pointed out that there is a lot of potential in forestry that needs to be tapped into and advised that more attention should be paid to such areas, especially as it affects climate change in the world. Now to the rest of the stories. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says structural integrity test has been conducted on no fewer than 230 houses possibly affected by the recent Ibadan explosion. The explosion, which occurred on Tuesday, killed 5 persons, injured 77, and rendered thousands homeless in the state. Makinde made these figures known while speaking at the Nigerian Society of Engineers investiture in Abuja. He added that the test included plans to resettle affected residents and avert the possible collapse of buildings. The immediate past Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, has called for the cooperation of all stakeholders to complement the efforts of the government to drive the wheel of development through infrastructure. The former governor of Osun State made the call in a statement by his media advisor, Shure, during the inauguration of projects and empowerment program of the Osun Economic Development Team held in Osogbo. While loading the group for the efforts, Aregbesola was optimistic that the projects and empowerment program would go a long way towards impacting the lives of beneficiaries. Now to foreign news. A number of U.S. military personnel have been injured in a missile attack on an airbase in western Iraq. The U.S. military's Central Command says an Iran-backed militia targeted the Al-Assad airbase, which hosts American troops with ballistic missiles and rockets. It says while an unspecified number of U.S. personnel are undergoing evaluation for traumatic brain injuries, at least one Iraqi service member was wounded in the attack. The strike against the base was claimed by a group calling itself the Islamic Resistance in Iraq. According to the U.S.-based Washington Institute for Near East Policy, the group emerged in late 2023 and is comprised of several Iran-affiliated armed groups operating in Iraq. The U.S. military says most of the missiles fired were intercepted by some evaded air defenses and hit the base, adding that an assessment of the damage is ongoing. In our sport, Novak Djokovic was at his dominant best in a straight-set demolition job to reach the Australian Open quarterfinals, which Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff is equally ruthless touch. The Serbian superstar recaptured his top form to surge into the last 16 after dropping sets in his opening two matches while feeling ill, and he stepped up another level against Adrian Manarino, the French 20th seed, who at 35 is a year younger than Djokovic, has been enjoying a late career resurgence. In other fourth round action, informed fourth seed Jannik Sinner faces last year's semi-finalist Karen Khachanov. And that ends our news at noon. Just before we go, stay alive, make use of pedestrian bridges where available. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know the Sanwo-Olu administration deployed traffic lights and CCTV cameras in strategic places in the state? Can get more details on the Lagos State government website. To end the news, from the highlights of major stories. The Ministry of Establishments and Training has organized a retreat for union leaders and stakeholders in the labor industry in the state. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, said a structural integrity test has been conducted on no fewer than 230 houses possibly affected by the recent Ibadan explosion. Also told you that a number of U.S. military personnel have been injured in a missile attack on an airbase in western Iraq. And in sport, Novak Djokovic was at his dominant best in a straight-set demolition job to reach the Australian Open quarterfinals with Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff in equally ruthless touch. For contact in the newsroom, send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagostate.gov.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Kayode Mafalashire. I am Dele Agadumo. Good afternoon. Thank you for listening.